You'll be surprised what a little good behavior can do for a person. You're not gonna ask me for my last words this time? I'm a lot closer to death than when I last saw you. As are you.
Not close enough.
Hmm? Close enough for who?
Close enough to me. Why do you think I came?
Look, I didn't ask you here to find out who's got the snappiest comebacks. I want to hire you.
What?
I require your services as a detective.
You're so old I don't know if you're senile or if you're joking.
Look, Ness. My granddaughter Sophia has been kidnapped. When what happened to my son, Vittorio, I put her in a boarding school. She was entered under a false surname, Colombo. Nobody knows who she is.
Nobody?
Only Milton, the man who brought you here. I trust him completely. 2 days ago, a guy turned up at the boarding school. He introduced himself as Guido Colombo, the girl's uncle, and her new legal guardian. He said her parents had just died in a tragic automobile accident. He produced all the relevant papers, driver's license, the custody document supposedly made out by the father, the death certificates. He explained away the fact that the girl didn't know him by saying he moved to Seattle before she was born.
Any clues?
Well, Sophia was wearing a blue dress with flowers that I personally ordered for her from Italy. She was also wearing white ballet shoes with daisies embroidered on them. As for the guy, the school principal said he was tall and slim, in his 50s. No particular accent. Black hair, no beard, no glasses. Well dressed. Could be anyone. But I know he was hired by one of my old associates. Someone wants to finish me once and for all. Maybe they want control of what's left of my organization. Maybe they hate my guts.
And I thought I was the only one who still hated you after 20 years. What else have you got?
I got this. And I got you.
You don't have me. My place is at my diner. And your girl's not there.
Huh. So where should I be looking?
You were the biggest boss in the Mafia. And by the looks of this place, you didn't lose everything. Why don't you ask one of your subordinates for help?
You don't listen, do you? The kidnapper was hired by one of my men. One of the people I trust.
So why me?
20 years ago, I pushed you to the edge. I bought your friends and killed the ones who couldn't be bought. I got you so obsessed with me that your wife ended up leaving you. When you had nothing left, you walked into my house, shot my bodyguards, and pointed a gun at me. You could have killed me. But you chose to take it out on this piano. You're the only honest man I know.
I'll do it. Not for you. For her.
I knew I got the right guy.
But I want something in return.
As you can see, I'm not short of money. Ask. I won't haggle.
You confess to any crime you like and go back to jail forever.
That won't be difficult. Since I got out of jail yesterday, I've committed a few. I don't give a damn what happens to me, Ness. You just saved Sophia. And you can start by investigating
Carlo Boccherini.
How did you know?
Biggest forger in Santa Esperanza. Wouldn't surprise me if Sophia's so-called uncle's papers were made by him. Besides, he's been cursing your name ever since we put you in jail.
Hey, I treated him like a son.
After you killed his parents.
They were selling booze without my permission. Wait, you know where to find them?
I have a good contact at the station. A girl. Rookie. Straight arrow. Reliable.
A girl? You saying you trust her?
You are such a chauvinist. Do you trust me?
Deal? That's a spirit. Keep Milton informed at all times, huh? You hear me?
I know you from somewhere.
You're not gonna ask me for my last words?
You should be right. I'm never going to help you. Why me?
I'm not asking you to help me.
I'm not a cop anymore. I'll do it. Not for you. For her. This town has become a jungle, where not even the rats are safe. Those who swore to protect us fight to steal the last scraps of dignity we have left. And those who should judge them prefer to squabble over their prey. It wasn't always like this. The Santa Esperanza I was born in was a clean town. A place where it meant something to be a cop. I'm gonna need help. Ness.
Elliot, I found Carlo Boccarini.
I knew you would, Alice.
Write this down. 31 Wicker Avenue in Lakeview.
Thanks. Nice work.
Elliot, what do you want with him? He's got a hell of a file.
I think he's mixed up in a kidnapping, but my client doesn't want the police involved.
What are you getting yourself into? Who's your client?
Alice, I don't have much time. I'll let you know how it goes. Thanks. Tomorrow's going to be a long, long day. "31 Wicker Avenue. This is it."
You sure?
I'm sure.
At last. That stench of stale grease about you reminds me too much of my old job.
You worked as a waiter?
I was a chef, and not in any old kitchen. At the maximum security penitentiary on Gore Island. Can't think of a better way to do time. And how do you think I met Alphonse? Playing golf?
Alphonse?
On the subject of cooking, I know your blueberry pie had an extra something. I still don't know what.
Alphonse?
So what now? You got a plan?
Take a look around, in case there's a rear exit. I'll take the main door.
My pleasure.
The fact that a criminal like him can hang up his shingle in broad daylight says a lot about Santa Esperanza. Interesting taste. Been centuries since a gardener visited this house. Maybe Boccarini's business isn't going too well. The bell doesn't work. I guess Boccarini doesn't get many visitors. Boccarini? Carlo Boccarini?
Nothing of interest out back. Sorry. You better come see this, Mr. Ness.
What is it?
I don't know how to describe it. Is that our man?
Boccarini.
My God.
We have to find out who did this and why. Let's go.
You're the detective, Mr. Ness. Besides, Alphonse will want to see this. I'll be right back.
All right. I have to establish how Boccarini died. Maybe the body parts can shed some light on the motive. Takes a strong man to tear that out. Or several. Jammed shut from the inside. Maybe between the two of us when Milton gets back. Blood and some kind of sticky liquid. Oh, shit. I should have stayed in my diner. release teeth from the body? Well, at least I know why his teeth were pulled out, more or less. What is that? Looks like a ritual. What was Boccherini mixed up in? This car looks too classy for a forger like Boccherini. Are there sufficient reasons to believe that when the murderer attacked Boccherini, there was someone else in the house? The first possibility to be ruled out is that the car belonged to Boccherini. Holy Christ, what the hell are we up against? His eyes were pulled clean out of their sockets. Whoever did this, it wasn't their first time. And if they committed any other murders like this, it's likely that the police found some of the bodies. I must remember to ask Alice. His teeth were all pulled out before he was killed. The buildup of blood inside his mouth speaks for itself. Pity he won't last till Christmas, because he'd almost pass for a tree. There's no doubt the murderer took his time. This isn't a cut, it's a tear. His hands were ripped off. Who has that kind of strength? What's he got stuck in there? Looks like the bottom of a glass. It's Boccherini, no doubt about that. Although the one I remember was more together. The blood comes from the other side of the corridor and ends next to the body. He was attacked in the other room and dragged to the hall. The evidence suggests that the events began in the lounge. How did Boccherini encounter his murderer? Whatever crushed the table must have been really heavy, or maybe it was thrown extremely hard. A perfectly circular dint, as if someone had tried to hammer in a gigantic bolt, around 4 inches in diameter. Fingernails scratched the wood. Blood ran like water. during the struggle, or was it already broken? Blood. Blood everywhere. What kind of person takes off a wristwatch without unfastening it? Or fastens the strap again after taking it off? This was opened recently. Smells of whiskey. There's something under there. How'd it wind up under there? Not one round fired. It must have happened fast. Glass on the floor indicates the window was broken from outside. What is it with Italians and olives? They lap those things up like caviar. Like a true bachelor, he should have put these into soak. Hours of scraping to get them clean. Although at this stage, I don't think Boccarini's too worried about that. 4 glasses. 2 of water, 2 of wine. I've always been a whiskey man, but I know a good wine when I see one. Leftover lasagna, and it looks good. Why is it that 2 out of 3 Italian gangsters are great cooks? I'll never understand what the deal is with them and cooking. The plates and the glasses leave no room for doubt. Boccarini had company for dinner. One knife's missing, the biggest one. Shut from the inside. It opens onto the same room as the jammed door in the corridor. Let's take a look in the glove compartment. Bingo. A man's cigarette case. That would be one of the Boccarini clan? Vermont plates. Someone drove a long way. Boccarini's teeth were all pulled out. What looks like the bottom of a broken glass buried in Boccarini's back. The murderer tore Boccarini's hands off. Hands ripped off, teeth torn out. I guess I'll have to rule out criminal intent or a personal angle. Boccarini's eyes still haven't shown up. What if I look for whatever was used to remove them? Some kind of symbol drawn in blood. A sick altar of human flesh. What looks like the bottom of a broken glass buried in Boccarini's back. The trail of blood from the dining room to the hall. A teaspoon stained with blood and some kind of mixture of sticky liquid and blood can only mean one thing. The spoon was used to remove Boccarini's eyes. The mutilations and the disappearance of his eyes suggest two possible motives. Psychopathy or cultist fanaticism. Which is it? What looks like the bottom of a broken glass buried in Boccarini's back. A sick altar of human flesh. What looks like the bottom of a broken... Some kind of symbol drawn in blood. Although I don't know the origin of the symbol in the bathroom and the altar of flesh and teeth, I'd say the motive was some kind of occult religion. The big question is, who did it? A pistol, fully loaded. Dirty plates, glasses. A door in the kitchen. Pieces of glass from the window in the hall. A broken whiskey glass. An open bottle of whiskey. I'd say Boccarini was drinking in the dining room when his assailant burst in through the window. Boccarini pulled his gun, but the murderer disarmed him before he could shoot. Where did the torture begin? A blood-stained wristwatch with a glass broken and the strap fastened. Two pools of blood. One on either side of the dining room table. A broken table, scratched and covered. The bloodstains show that the murderer began to torture Boccarini on the dining table itself. That was where his hands were torn off. As a result, his wristwatch fell to the ground. How did the body reach its current position? The trail of blood from the dining room to the hall. What looks like the bottom of a... Dirty plates. A door in the corridor jammed. The lamp, torn off its brackets, and Boccarini, already minus hands, was dragged into the hall, where the murderer used the brackets of the lamp to complete his macabre diorama. A car with Vermont plates. The initials OB on a cigarette case. 1. It has Vermont plates. 2. It's too luxurious for a criminal of his standing. 3. The initials on the cigarette case don't match his name. The next possibility that needs to be ruled out is that the car was stolen. There should be evidence that there was someone else in the house. A door in the kitchen. What looks like a broken whiskey glass. A door in the corridor. Dirty plates, glasses, and silverware. The dirty dishes and glasses prove that Boccarini ate lasagna with one other person. Was Boccarini's guest still in the house when the murderer showed up? A broken whiskey glass found in the dining room. Did they escape? Did the murderer take them? Or are they still in the house? A door in the kitchen, locked from the inside. A door in the corridor jammed shut. One locked door could be a coincidence, but two locked doors which open onto the same room can't be. Either I'm completely wrong, or the witness is in that room. But I need Milton to open one of those doors.
Mr. Ness, can you open the door for me?
It was open. Why did you ring?
I thought I should use the doorbell so I wouldn't startle you.
When I came in, I pressed the doorbell and it didn't work.
Well, in light of the facts, I deduced that it was your finger that wasn't working. So, what can you tell me to restore my faith in you as a detective?
What is that?
Not a good start. It's a camera, so Alphonse can see all this.
All right. Follow me. Boccarini had company for dinner. Someone from Vermont with the initials OB. Someone whose social status was a lot higher, but who was on the same side of the law. He served lasagna, and after clearing away the dishes, they opened a bottle of whiskey in the dining room. That was when the murderer burst in on them, coming through the window which he broke with his own body weight. Boccarini, or maybe his guest, pulled a gun, but it was a waste of time. The murderer was so fast he was disarmed before he could fire. He focused his attention on Boccarini, totally ignoring the guest, and lifted him up into the air. He then threw him against the dining room table so hard that one of the glasses of whiskey was embedded in Boccarini's back. He span around, clawing at the table, and immediately afterwards the murderer ripped off his hands. I have no idea how he did it, but all the evidence suggests he just pulled. Blood sprayed everywhere. The wristwatch fell to the ground. He dragged him through the corridor into the hall. He tore down the lamp, hung him from the brackets, and stabbed steel rods through his body. He skewered him on the iron bars, possibly taken from the fence outside, and pulled out his teeth one by one. Finally, he scooped out his eyes with a teaspoon. Boccarini must have been dead when the murderer went to the bathroom with his hands in his teeth. There, he arranged them to make an altar, weaving the fingers together and placing the teeth inside. Next, he painted something on the wall in blood, a symbol which I don't recognize, but which could have some kind of ritualistic significance. When he'd finished his artwork, he left. I don't know what he did with the eyes.
You're telling me that someone did all this armed with a teaspoon?
More or less.
And you worked all this out on your own, just by looking?
More or less.
I don't know which of the two of you scares me more. Wait a second. What about the guest?
Right. Come with me. Nothing.
Turns out Mr. Untouchable isn't infallible. But you were close. Congratulations.
This must be Boccarini's office. Let's take a quick look around.
All yours.
We've lost the only lead we had to help us find Sofia Capone.
You think Boccarini's murder could be related?
Maybe. It's hard to say. You're at a crime scene, and you sit down to read?
Titus Andronicus. One of the actors on the Hindenburg lent it to me. They're performing it soon. You couldn't ask for more appropriate reading material. Murder, mutilation, torture. Shakespeare's got it all.
Why'd you go to jail?
For murder, but...
You didn't do it, of course.
Of course I didn't, but I didn't intend to.
Jesus, there's at least $1 million here.
Boccarini's?
I'd be surprised. Probably his guests, and I doubt it was to pay Boccarini for his services. None of his forgeries are worth that much. Carlo, I have the goods for OB. But I have to take the children to school tomorrow and I can't make the meetup. Friday, same time, same place. It's signed N.I.
Mm-hmm. These initials are getting to be a pain in the ass, right?
I have to take the kids to school tomorrow. I don't think this is some loving divorced daddy, Milton.
I take back what I just said.
The driver's license of one John Martinson and Osmond Burke. O.B.
Do we know him?
The eldest son of the richest family in Vermont, convicted rapist. He was arrested thanks to the testimony of his father, who wound up disinheriting him. He escaped from prison last week. He broke into the family home and slit the throats of all his relatives one by one, opened the safe, and got away with a fortune.
They don't make jails like they used to. All starting to add up, isn't it?
Out of my way! Out!
All starting to add up, isn't it?
Out of my way! Out!
All starting to add up, isn't it?
Out of my way! Out!
All starting to add up, isn't it?
Out of my way! Out!
All starting to add up, isn't it?
Out of my way! Out!
All starting to add up, isn't it?
Out of my way! Out!
Milton! Milton! You're doing fine on your own, Mr. All starting to add up, isn't it?
Out of my way! Out!
Milton! Milton! You're doing fine on your own, Mr. All starting to add up, isn't it?
Out of my way! Out!
All starting to add up, isn't it?
Out of my way! Out!
All starting to add up, isn't it?
Out of my way!
All starting to add up, isn't it? All starting to add up, isn't it?
Out of my way! Ow!
All start...